Hey, everybody. Hope everything's going well. Go ahead and fire away with your questions. You can unmute yourself, type in, go ahead and fire away.
And go ahead, Heather, then Barbara.
Hey, Heather.
Let's get you unmuted. You are not unmuted still. I don't know if you're talking. Go ahead, Heather.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Sorry, I was at work, so I couldn't unmute. So I'm free now. Give me just one moment here. Thank you so much. I've got questions today. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Sorry, it'll take too much to show my videos, so pardon me. I've got two clients that I need some help with, if I could, please.
Sure. Yeah. Fire away.
Let's see, one is maybe an easy issue. Is there any way to increase collagen?
To increase collagen with oils, it's a little bit hard. I would say, the thing that usually breaks down collagen is an inflammation. So you
Okay.
can use things that are anti-inflammatory, especially something like black cumin. But just using the collagen that you get from the health food store is a great way to kind of boost all of that. Collagen also breaks down usually because of deficiency in vitamin C. So you could use some vitamin C and or quercetin, which is a bioflavonoid. It's a crude
Yeah.
form of vitamin C. It takes a lot longer to process. So it's a way to elevate vitamin C for much longer periods in the body. Your body's not able to store vitamin C and it doesn't make vitamin C. So, when
Yes.
you take something that has like vitamin C in it, it's in your body maybe 4 hours. So quercetin will make it last a lot longer because it takes a lot longer to process.
Yes, I remember the quercetin from many classes. Okay, awesome. The other thing is there's this skin issue that's been happening. It's like for 10 years.
Okay.
The client takes different things, whether it's internal medication, creams, things like that. But as soon as
For
he,
the rashes or for the skin?
yes, yes. So it's like a combination, like folliculitis, eczema. What's going on is that anytime that he would like swim, go for a walk, sweat, do anything physical, it will flare up the skin. Like so, and that will like break it out. Whenever the skin gets wet and then doesn't dry out, the rash will appear. So like swimming will inflame it, just walking where he sweats, because it's like in the groin and buttocks mainly.
So the groin, like in the crease, or just the whole groin area?
Like the easiest way to say it is like the swimsuit area.
Okay. Boy, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to be like everybody else that he's talked to about that. I just have to start taking stabs at it. Things that are like eczema oriented, I look first to things like kunzia. Kunzia can be quite helpful with conditions like that, but
And that would be something where it's just sustained inhalations.
no, you would have to put it on topically on some of those areas. That it's in the swimsuit area, that's on the butt cheeks and the groin area.
Yeah, it's just this constant battle. And so then he won't go for a walk or won't
Oh no, yeah,
do whatever, because otherwise
the,
can't put clothes on, has to make sure everything's dry.
that it's in that particular area is the thing that throws me off a little bit. Like if it was just like other parts of his body were doing that as well. A lot of times when we have like issues like that, I would say I don't, try to treat the skin topically a bit, but then go to the digestive tract and treat the digestive
Mm,
back and help with that? Is he having any sort of digestive issue at all?
it doesn't mention it, but I can ask.
Yeah.
Would it be more of a abdominal pain, discomfort,
No, it
or
would be
something
like
else?
digesting food, like he has a sensitive stomach, manifests as like what he would call as food allergies, gets real tired after he eats.
Okay, yes, because what he has done is kind of changed his diet with things, but he also, we've worked in the past for addiction.
Uh-huh.
So with obsessive compulsive like eating and whatnot. So uh, that's a factor too.
Is
Like
he real hard on himself? Like if you were to, is he real thin and real hard on himself?
I don't know about the hard on himself, but he is not a he's an average person, thin,
Okay.
thin build.
Hmm.
Um, issues in childhood, abandonment type things. And then some of the rash might appear on the feet and the toes or bottom of the feet, but that's way less
And
pronounced.
describe the rash. Like it's scaly, it's
Oh,
flaky, it's red, it's bumpy.
I think there's bumps. I've never seen it.
Okay. Let me just sit with this for a second.
Okay.
The groin, the feet. Makes me wonder. Give me just a sec here.
Okay. Thank you.
Hmm. Okay. So this is what I would try. And I mean, I'm just swinging. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not sure that
Mhm.
this is the thing that's going to help, but it's a good first guess. That it's just located in those areas throws me off a little bit. Like if it was in just a bunch of different areas, but because it's like, okay, it's in an area where he's wearing his underwear or his, pants or whatever, that could be doing it, but it's hard to say.
Mhm.
I would do either chamomile German or Roman chamomile, like in an ointment or a lotion,
Okay.
or hyssop.
Okay.
Those hit several kinds of skin issues that this potentially could be. And they hit multiple ones, so that it's a good first step in something like this. If it was just eczema, I'd say let's go Kunzia and everything, but this sounds something more complicated. I suspect that there's a digestive issue. The reason why I was asking about like his personality and things is there are certain kind of personality types that would have issues that would manifest as issues in the small intestine. But you would know he would complain about it. He would complain of pain. He would have inflammatory bouts in the gut that would be very debilitating. It doesn't sound like that's something that he's complaining about. So let's just go straight forward with the chamomile or the hyssop.
Okay. Yeah, I do know. I think he tries to limit like gluten. Like if he has pizza, I know pizza
Yeah,
or
see
cheese, he would have issues.
so with that usually is an autonomic issue. Like
Mhm.
the nerves of the gut aren't functioning quite as well, like they're not innervating the tissue quite as well.
Okay.
And or it's a stress plagued digestive tract. So I would say
So he's full of
ANS,
stress.
yeah, so ANS internally would be really good, or tarragon by itself, rosemary by itself, anise by itself. I'd do either ANS or tarragon, a couple drops in water, taken internally, like daily. Even twice daily. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just jotting that down. 2
Yeah.
times daily. I chuckle because I'm like, come on, just take 2 drops of spikenard in water, in sparkling water. It's super awesome. It tastes really great. He's won't even do 2 drops of basil in water. And
Mhm.
he's like, I am not ingesting this stuff. So I will suggest the 2
Okay.
drops in water,
Yeah.
drop,
Yeah.
2 drops in water 2 times a day.
Okay.
But aside from that, if he is just unwilling to do the internal, is there an alternate?
It's hard to treat topically. You could put the same stuff on topically and lotion, like 5-6 drops and some lotion, and rub it on the abdomen. It's going to take a lot longer that way.
And then back to the other with mentioning the hyssop in an ointment or lotion. I know he has hyssop, so he could use that.
Mhm.
Because of the gut issues, are you kind of leaning away
I
from
would
that
still do both.
chamomile or hyssop?
Yeah, no, I
Okay,
would still do both. Yeah.
okay. Ooh, fingers crossed he will try the internal method.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Another one,
Mhm.
a lady who's had bowel issues for quite some time. It might be, 10 years or more. Forgive me for not knowing the correct terms, but I guess peristalsis, is that what
Mhm.
moves things through?
Yes, yes.
That's almost non-existent for her.
Okay.
So what
The
could get
best
things moving again?
oil to help establish that is cinnamon or cassia. I would go cinnamon. Like I know they're almost identical, but
Okay.
cinnamon, couple drops in water, taking internally daily, and that usually helps to reestablish that.
Okay.
There is she's had that for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, like there is a medication induced version of that. But the medication that causes that is pretty new. And so if it's an old issue, then I would just go straight cinnamon, two drops of cinnamon in water taken daily, like
Hmm.
probably in the morning, and that should help reestablish that over a period of time.
Okay. And then when we say a period of time, that's of course different for everyone, but
Yeah.
is that something that could be 4 months, 6 months, or
Oh, I would say Usually within a few weeks.
Oh, much
Sometimes
quicker.
it takes a month or two. Really stubborn cases, you do need to treat it for longer, but usually
Mhm.
it kind of gets going within a few weeks.
Awesome. Okay, that sounds really promising. Well, for now, I think that is all my questions.
Okay,
Thank you so much,
thank
Greg.
you, thank you.
And then go ahead, Barbara, then Ralph.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey there, I have two questions. The first one is more clinical. My mom's got deteriorating kidney function, and this is newly discovered, and I think she'd be open to something if she felt it would help, and I wondered what you might have for recommendations for that.
Like, like kidney function is going down, like she's aware
The
of it,
filtration,
or the doctor is telling her kidney function is going down based on testing?
oh, based on testing, her creatinine's up a little, her GFR is down. She's cutting back on caffeine. She just needs to be watchful with her diet right now, not a specific prescription. But
Does she have any respiratory issue or heart issue?
not respiratory, except when it's really smoky outside.
Okay,
Heart, no, I mean, she's on a cholesterol med and she's on a blood pressure med, but they're all well controlled.
and is she having any muscular issues at all?
Occasionally a cramp or a spasm, but not a lot.
Not like muscle weakness or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
She sore from
Um,
hiking last weekend, but at 88.5, but
So poor kidney function going down. Okay, I would say out of the realm of essential oils is where we need to go. And I would give her about 3,000 milligrams a day of cordyceps. And cordyceps is a type of fungus, mushroom.
Mhm.
It does help improve kidney function. In a way that's very gentle. It's not, because some things like juniper, for example, doesn't really improve kidney function. It just stimulates the kidneys to urinate. Parsley and lovage can be very fortifying to the kidneys, but I don't know that they're going to work for her. It almost is like a depletion, like the kidneys are run down, the body might be run down a little bit, and given her age, that kind of fits. And
stress level.
yeah, the cordyceps is going to increase energy levels overall, increase some function in other areas of her body, but it will help fortify the kidneys in a way that's very gentle. And sometimes when the kidneys are really having a hard time, the use of mushrooms is something that is very well tolerated in the body. You can do even bigger dosages if you needed, and it's not hard on the kidneys for processing and things like that. Where if we gave her some other things, it might be a little bit hard for her kidneys to process. And so I would stick with the cordyceps. You could go bigger with the dosage, but 3,000 milligrams is pretty solid. You could get it in a powder and just measure it out that way, or we have a company that I think the capsules are like 1,000 milligrams each, aren't they? Yeah. And we'll get you that information. But
Yeah, because we have it, we can get it in the caps in a good quality, which might just be easier than.
yeah,
powder.
I think that's easier. Maybe.
Thank you.
So yeah. And stress levels are okay for her, or they're pretty high?
No, they're off the chart at the moment.
Let me look up one more thing too. I would still stick with the cordyceps, but okay. I would also like to, the kidney function when the body's in fight flight. If you think about like, okay, I need to fight, I need to run, your body does certain actions to help prepare you to either fight or run. And one of them has something to do with the bowels and something to do with the kidneys, and just like emptying out the bladder and shifting the rest and repair mode to the kidneys because it's ready to fight or run. It's not really thinking about like long term what it is. I would say there's different oils that you could use in this situation, but I would say for her, in her situation, one jumps out for me, and it's Eucalyptus citriodora. It's a lemony kind of eucalyptus. It's anti-inflammatory. It has to do with like deposits. It helps the body process deposits in tissues and joints, but it also has like an I don't want to say anti-anxiety, but it helps with the calming down the central nervous system. And normally there's other oils that I would go to, like Melissa is really good for this, and lemon verbena is good for this, and jasmine and Litsea cubeba. And if you didn't have the Eucalyptus citrodora handy, you could try Litsea cubeba or lemongrass as the next go-to choice. But for some reason, like as I think of her, like Eucalyptus citrodora keeps jumping out at me. And
Okay.
uh
And the application is inhalation or internal?
inhalation, but I'd also make it like into like a little body tonic or a little lotion, and just have her rub it on her abdomen or like over her kidney area, and have it impact that area, but also impact the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight flight as well. If she doesn't want to put it on, inhalation should still be good, but I would say let's get it on her topically somehow.
I think she would do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and keep me posted. We might have to adjust that, but I think that's a good choice. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
And then go ahead.
So,
Oh, yeah, you had another, that's right.
I did, if I may.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
One's me. I'm today in particular, but having trouble holding space for all the stuff that's going on in the world and not reacting to it.
Oh God, I hear you.
It's
Yeah.
not it's not anger, it's not fear, it's like a sadness, or I think you call it soberness, but it's really hitting me hard today. And I'm not sure if that has to do with being a little depleted from a week ago, or it's just,
Yeah. Well, it's just chaos out there. Like, you know, it's, I hear you.
I don't want to stick my head in the sand, but I'm
Right,
just out of equilibrium with holding it. And
right. Is there symptoms that are manifesting, or you just like internally, emotionally, mentally, you're just like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Common complaint, by the way. You know, and I'd say big picture is it's a changing of an age. It's a changing of things that are going on, and it's a rebooting of things, but things come to the surface before that can happen. It's hard to watch sometimes. Even though big picture happens, we are still living in the here and now, and it's hard. I remember one time Master Choa made this comment. He was like, you know, if a soul was smart, you'd align yourself with the divine plan and ride the coattails of the divine plan. In the next 10,000 years, you know, you'd incarnate as many times as you can, because you could rapidly spiritually grow and develop. And so he's like thinking it like this, and he goes, so you should try to incarnate as many times as you can. And we're all just quiet, like looking at each other, like, okay, note to self, incarnate as much as you can. But like, that's such a big picture that it really doesn't help the here and now. And so sometimes it's just a matter of perspective, but this is what I would say. There's a couple different things you can try. So one is the use of valerian. And valerian, not so much because it's like a sedative. One of the things that valerian's really good for is it's a restorative to the homeostasis mechanism. You know, it's a lot of change, it's a lot of weirdness going on. We're having to adapt our perspectives, and things aren't always the same from week to week, month to month, you know, quarter to quarter, year to year. Over the last 4 or 5 years, there's just been so much change. So the use of valerian, yeah, you know, I'd probably use it at night, but you could use it during the day as well. It's similar to spikenard, but it's a better restorative than spikenard. It just helps to restore the homeostasis mechanism, which is the balancing aspects of your physiology, emotions, and mind. There's that component.
and is that inhalation?
Yeah, inhalation, you could put it a little bit like on your feet. In more extreme cases, a couple drops in water and take it that way, but inhalation will actually work. The other thing that I would say is give me a second here. I'm just kind of processing this for you. You know, in all the different kits and things, I would think you would have some form of aloes,
I do.
or assemblage point.
My new favorite.
Yeah, I would do the arms and legs and the organs of blood purification. I'd probably do the organs of blood purification first, and then do the arms and legs, and then the spine. And the thing that there's different reasons why you would work those particular components. But if we come back to all the shifting and changing that's happening in the world, the arms and legs and the gut are tied to what you would call the peripheral nervous system, and that divides up into two segments. It divides up into a segment that affects the skeletal muscles, and then another aspect is that it would hit the smooth muscle, like of the gut and respiratory tract, but mostly the gut. I mean, not mostly, but like of the gut. And we were talking about a little bit over, I can't remember, it was over the weekend, or I don't know, all the lectures blur together. But those two areas in the peripheral nervous system, they're parts of the nervous system that are not protected by the spine and the skull, right? So they're basically kind of exposed aspects of the nervous system. And in that area, there is that, it's very, very unconscious, but it's like a stress of being vulnerable, or the stress of injury. Like these areas are a little bit more sensitive to just the craziness in the world. You'll feel it more in those parts of your nervous system. And then eventually it affects how we feel, and then how we think, and all that. And it's not like we are mentally like grinding on it. Your nervous system is a little bit of like, there's craziness out there, and you perceive it, and then that part of your nervous system goes, we're all exposed here, we gotta do something. And so working the organs of blood purification handles that vulnerability, that stress of vulnerability in the gut. And then treating the arms and legs treats it in the more skeletal aspects of it. And then you just kind of go through and unwind the aspect that has to do with the spine, which is not part of the peripheral nervous system, but it is like a deep release that can happen from the nervous system. I find that when an environment, be it a household, work, or whatever it is like chaotic and unstable, I always kind of like to go to that organs of blood purification in the limbs and treat it. And different oils do different things through those areas, but here you just want to kind of diminish that stress, that things are crazy and chaotic, but at the same time in your circle they're not as crazy as it is out in the world. And so hard not to perceive it in the news, but really your immediate, your family, your home, all that stuff doesn't have that level or degree of craziness. And so we just need to flush that out somewhat. Aloes, or the assemblage point on those areas, should help that. It should also put you in a place to where you're able to go deeper into sleep. And now if it feels like it's really overwhelming at some point, I'd use marjoram and just inhale it. Like, it doesn't even have to be a pattern, just start inhaling the marjoram, and it will kind of pull you out of that and help you to go a little bit deeper. It will transmute some of those things in the body. But I think the aloes or the assemblage point should be your go-to thing.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that explanation, because I know it's not mental, but it makes sense when you talk about it in the nervous system.
Yeah, Well, like here's the thing with like we think of the mental body as just being activity in the brain, but we have activity in the gut and we have activity in what they call the root brain, which is tied to the sex chakra. It's not the root chakra, but that is more of like your instinctive responses to the environment. And your mental activity is a byproduct of all three. It's not just one. And so some of the stuff that's happening is not just things in your head. You know, like if you think about it, like the brain is like your thoughts. The second brain, or the brain in the gut, is like empathy, or how things make you feel. And then the root brain down in the sex chakra is basically like instinctive responses, or like what you would call like being triggered or things of that nature, where you're just kind of reacting to things in the environment. It's not about sex, it's about just perceiving things in the environment. And do we get triggered? Is there an opportunity? Is there, whatever it is, what am I attracting? Like, that kind of stuff. And all of those make up our mental aspects. And even within the blood, there is a mental reflective property that is in the bloodstream. It's not necessarily in the mind. Esoterically, if you look at what we would call the ego, is not in the mind, it's actually in the bone marrow. It's all the different practices that do blood purifications in different ways. What they're trying to do is they're trying to purify the blood, and they're trying to purify the bone marrow, so it changes the mental faculties. And our mind is more of a byproduct of things rather than the one calling the shots. It's more of this accumulation of all these different aspects that's being processed. And so
Thank you for that clarification.
yeah, like it's not always like, "Oh, I'm grinding on this." It's like your whole body is reacting in different ways, and you're processing it up there. And so the more that you kind of unwind some of that, the more that will change. And it's not always things in your head. Doing the organs of blood purification, doing the arms and legs, has a big impact on the bone marrow. That's why we do it a lot. And in your meditation practice, storing things in the navel and the navel minor, the secondary navel, will also have an impact on the bone marrow. And even doing long, slow, deep breathing with your awareness on the navel will have an impact as well. And so you could even fall back on some of those kinds of practices, where if you're really feeling it, you can, do a little bit of meditation or prayer, and then put your awareness on the navel and just like breathe. Do long, slow, deep breathing with your awareness on the navel, and it will shift. I always find that it works, but it's slow. And I usually personally feel like I don't have patience for this. I go to the organs of blood purification and the arms and legs and open it up that way. It moves the energy faster, but storing it in the navel is a long, steady approach.
Thank you so much. You've given me a
Yeah.
lot to work with here.
Okay, let me know how that goes too, by the way. If we need to make an adjustment, I have things also that I don't always put on the site or something. I always have little things that we can throw at it that might not be something that's some you have in a kit or something.
Will do. Thanks again.
Ironically, we are going to be talking about some of this over the next few classes. you know, the energy mechanics is also like the integration of the nervous system. You know, it's not the class this weekend, but the following weekend, it's a free class. We're going to be going deep on that. Even in the Ganesha class, we're going deep on a deeper way of treating the second brain. And in the vagus nerve class, we are going to treat all three brains and like harmonize all three brains. And when did we do that for Astara? Oh, we're doing it Thursday. Yeah. So like different ways of doing it, different ways of handling it. There is another approach that's an energetic one that maybe mute me for a second. So Samantha's going to get a little message out to you about some of the three brain aspects of the three brains. And you know, you'll see. She's shooting that to you right now.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
You're so.
And then go ahead, Ralph and Cindy.
Hey, Ralph.
Good evening, Greg.
How are you? I
I'm
love your
doing-
Splendor trick, by the way.
Oh yeah, okay. It's working. It worked okay. I've found that I get much better physical results using marjoram.
Oh, nice.
So, but yeah, I got some relief doing Splendor, but physical results the marjoram was more effective for me.
Okay. When you say physical results, like what kind of symptoms are you addressing?
When I used the Splendor, I still had feelings of tension in the temples and in
Okay.
the jaw minors. But
Uh-huh.
when I used marjoram, I definitely had a sensation of relief in temples and jaw minors.
Nice. Yeah, I mentioned you several times over the weekend. I was like, Ralph really liked the Splendor on the arms and the legs.
Yeah.
You-
Splendor's my new favorite oil.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, first peristalsis. Cinnamon and water. Can I do cinnamon and coffee? Is that equally as
Yeah,
effective?
yeah.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, there's that's an issue, but you know, now they're discovering that some of the medications that they were using for weight loss
Mhm.
actually cause like a type of paralysis in the smooth muscle of the gut.
Oh, sounds
And-
anti-productive.
Yes, one of them is a Zimbec, and you know they use that sometimes for diabetes, and then they use it also for weight loss. But
Mhm.
long-term use actually causes like a kind of paralysis, and so we're trying to use the cinnamon to help unwind that in some of the people who have had those symptoms.
Okay. All right. Let's see. And could Sam please send the three brains thing over to me also, please?
Sure. Yeah, we'll get that pulled together. I think she's trying to figure out how to pull that off, and we will be doing it in a couple of the next classes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, my question for the evening is I have had a history of skin cancers from getting sunburns when I was a youngster.
Okay.
And so somebody told me what you need to do is go see this great dermatologist and she'll use liquid nitrogen and burn these spots off your face.
Okay.
And so she did. And now what I've got is little white scabby things that come up on my face where I was burned.
Okay.
And then they fall off and it's still relatively raw underneath. And eventually the little scabby thing comes back up and it falls off again and it's still raw underneath. Is there any oil I can
So
use
how long ago did they burn those areas? Like, you know, with the nitrogen?
About a year ago.
Oh, wow. That's a while. So one of the things that I would say there is I would try using spikenard.
Okay,
Spikenard is a great normalizer and balancer in the skin,
mm-hmm,
and it's very soothing in times where you're not sure what to use. Sometimes spikenard can be helpful. My
okay,
second choice would be helichrysum, but
Mhm.
I think it's probably more a spikenard issue.
okay.
Yeah.
Spikenard in like,
Like something real light, like I neat would probably,
sesame oil?
yeah, neat would probably be okay, but I'd almost put like a few drops of spikenard and
Mhm.
then maybe twice as many drops of the sesame and then rub it together with your fingers and then rub it into the spots.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, and the comments about trouble not reacting to the world. Yeah, I have that too. You know, it's like,
Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to get worked up about that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
well, it's hard not to throw up about it, you know? I mean,
yeah, like it's just, it doesn't, somebody said something about, well, I don't read politics. It's not just politics, it's the
no,
world, the world's like
it seems to be
changing,
every freaking thing at once.
yeah, there's the fires and there's the heat waves and there's the,
The
it's
floods
just one
and
thing after
yeah,
another, after another, after another.
yeah.
And I was talking with a buddy not too long ago, and he's just like, very intelligent guy, and he's just like, I don't know what to think. And I was like, I think we just need to breathe and ride this thing out. Like, you
Yeah.
just adjust and adapt. And we're so used to things kind of being clearly laid out. And if something happened, it was like we could all look at it and go, wow, that's crazy. But it's like every day is crazy now. Like every
Mhm.
day is just crazy.
Yeah.
Some less
Yeah.
crazier than others, but
Yeah.
there's super crazy days and moderate crazy days, but every day is crazy.
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
uh,
Excellent. Thank
yeah,
you.
it's a thing. Like it's a changing of an age, and granted, that usually means a bit of chaos, but boy, it's
Yeah, some people tell me I signed
it's
up
a
to be
lot.
here for this. I
Yeah,
want to see the contract. Show me my
yeah,
signature.
yeah, it's a lot. And it's going to calm down, but at some point I was like, I don't know if it's even going to be in my lifetime.
Yeah.
No, like at first I was like, oh, as soon as the pandemic's over, and now I'm like, hopefully,
Mm,
by the time I'm leaving the body, it's calmed down. I just don't
yeah.
know anymore.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Kind of in that someone's asking what you recommended for Barbara, could that be good for everyone?
Possibly, like I'm coming up with a way of doing it. There's strong ways of doing it, but sometimes it makes you expel kind of hard. And so I'm playing with ways of being able to do it in a way that's soft and gentle, but not too soft and gentle. And so I am going to present it in the vagus nerve class. I am kind of using a little bit, if we can find the notes and everything, for Barbara, where I'm going to use her a little bit as a guinea pig for the stronger parts, but it is can be a little bit hard on the system a little bit. It's basically what I've done, but it's like, I know it works for me, but so yeah, I mean, I'm willing to put that out. I need to make sure that it's stable for people. So sometimes how I figure out if it's stable for people, I use a few guinea pigs, and if we can find the notes, Barbara's going to be one of the guinea pigs. Yeah. If you want to be a guinea pig too, just let us know. And but the software version is going to be in the vagus nerve class. Even the Ganesha class goes into the part of the second brain in the gut. And we are tapping into it a little bit in that free class that's the energy mechanics and the nervous system, like the integration aspects. So like when you go through and you work your health rays, you're not just working the health rays, you're working an aspect of your nervous system. When you clean the aura, you're working an aspect of the nervous system. You know, esoterically, they would say your chakras are the centers for your energy body. The glands are the chakras of the body, right? So how your glands function, it almost is like a function of, similar to what the chakras do for the energy body, the glands do for the physical body. But those other aspects of like the health rays, the aura, the protective web, cords, they're not necessarily affecting the endocrine system, they're affecting more of the nervous system. And then your nervous system and your endocrine system kind of form what we see as our everyday mind. You know, so it's a byproduct of all these different aspects. And so, yeah.
Thanks. And then go ahead, Cindy, then Deborah.
Hey, Cindy.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, hey.
I wondered if you would mind scanning me to see how the body's doing, because that when the last time I saw you, the
Yeah.
hand swollen, and it's better.
Is it better?
Well, the finger's better. I mean, it's sometimes like right now I can move it a little bit, whereas before I couldn't. But today the wrist started swelling and getting red.
And on the same hand.
Same hand, and that knuckle where the finger was swelling is still red. And what I started doing when I can think of it is putting it in ice till it was cold enough that you know, it was a little uncomfortable. Then I'd take it out, and that seemed to help because it seems hot.
And how is the psoriasis on the body?
It's still the same.
Still the same.
Yeah.
Hey,
I may not be doing everything I need to do. Also, my order came and I had joint relief in it, and I wasn't
good.
quite sure how to use that. Is it
The
is it
joint relief I
neat?
rub on the area. Yeah.
Is it neat or with oil or lotion?
I would put it in with a little bit of lotion or oil.
Okay.
I want to say you have spikenard.
I do.
I would want to go a little bit hard with the spikenard. I would put it on some of the psoriasis areas, and even a little bit on the chest, like up here, just to impact the thymus.
Okay.
I think it'd be calming and soothing, and I mean, I really think that's psoriatic arthritis. You know, when I saw you in person, the first thing I was thinking of was like, God, I hope this is not rheumatoid, you know, but that it's a flare up in that area. It seems like it's more tied to the psoriasis than to rheumatoid. It's still autoimmune issue. But like as the flare up of the psoriasis happens, the flare up of the arthritis can happen. And so I think spikenard would be the thing. You can use the joint relief on the hands and everything to try to get things moving. But I'd go real hard on the spikenard. I'd even take a couple drops internally at night.
Okay. I probably haven't been using, and I have been using it, the Theralotion, but probably not enough. And I have not been taking it internally. I probably
Let's see how
Probably
that treats you. And then like maybe send me an email like in 2 or 3 days and just let me know how that's going. Cause I would expect like it calming down. It might not completely go away, but calming down within a day or two of taking that.
of taking
Of the
spikenard.
spikenard and putting the spikenard on the psoriasis and stuff.
Okay, all right. When you gave me camphor and you said I can't remember exactly how to use it. I know you said you could
Camphor, inhale on the arms and legs. You know, you're just inhaling going through the joints and then the whole arm, whole leg.
Okay,
And then that increases the circulation of the arms and legs. And then the rosemary, just start at your feet and just start working your way up the body. You know, inhale with just putting your awareness on different parts of your body, moving the blood up towards your head. You know, that's basically what you're doing with the rosemary.
okay, so it's just the limbs that I'm putting my awareness on, right?
With the camphor, with rosemary, you're doing your whole body.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
think
piece by piece.
okay, whole body. All right. And I have been feeling some emotions are coming up, and so I ordered sadness and grief.
Okay.
How do you use that one?
Inhale it or just put like a drop on the heart, or you can put a drop on the, like a stronger version is a drop on the Ming Men, the heart, and the top of the head all at the same time.
Okay, and use it on meat.
Yeah, I mean, you could put it with a little bit of like lotion or cream if the need is a little much for you. But, you know, just take a little drop and like, you know, just dab it. Like it doesn't need to be much. And then
And-
inhale.
And inhale. Okay, and does it matter? Is it going to bring something up, or should I just use it at
Should
night?
be the opposite. It should soothe things and release things. The
Okay.
things coming up, are they specific or you just feel weird feelings coming up? You don't have to go into details, but is it specific or non-specific?
Specific.
Yeah.
Like some of it is my mom and
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely just inhale and then dab it on those 3 spots.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think that was it. Thank you.
So the one thing that I would add to that is
Yeah.
If there's specific incidences that you recall, like, you know, it's not just your mom, but like your mom when, you know, the birthday party of, you know, 1982 or something, you know, whatever it is. Even though she's passed, inhale etheric cords or ironbark eucalyptus as you think of those events, and it helps to kind of clean the cord between you and the event and release it.
So inhale as I think about the event.
Like or different situations, or just even your mom. You could just sit and think of your mom. I still would use the sadness and grief, but
Right.
I would inhale thinking of her and events that come up.
Okay. And so if I use the sadness and grief, how long before putting spikenard on the chest?
Just put it in a different spot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Keep me posted, okay? Please keep me posted.
Yes, yeah, I will. Thank
Okay.
you.
And then go ahead, Deborah, then Sandra.
Hey, Deborah.
Hi, Greg,
Hey,
and Sam. I just wanted to thank you so much. I've got extreme relief from what we did in the anxiety class.
oh, good.
Yes. And I'm even able to, from your explanations, go to 1 or 2 when it's really busy and still feel like there's movement of the physical feelings, and that enables me to be more rational in my emotion. So
Do you think it was the opening protocol that was like that really long involved protocol, or was it more the maintenance protocol?
I would say I'm just guessing because I'm so detached from the oils for so long
Mhm.
because of my situation, that it was probably a combination, that was just like a good kickoff for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that those the splendor, I definitely, the mind just quieted down.
Yeah.
And
Good. Yeah.
and then I could go to the roof for cutting cords, and then this, my old go-to was always mugwort or a salt scrub. And so I found some of that and I did that a little bit. And, I really work on my feet and lower limbs. And then this morning, when I was feeling a little bit of agitation, I put some mugwort on the different joints, just a drop.
Yeah.
And it held me for the day.
Oh, nice.
So,
It's
but
a great regimen to do. Like every time I'll start doing it, I'll do it for a couple months and then I'll stop doing it, and then go back and do it again. I was like, why did I stop doing this?
Yeah.
Like, I really was that me being smart? Or you start feeling so good, you just stop thinking about, oh, I need to do this. And then a day or a week goes by and you're like, why did I stop? It's very nice. It's very, very nice.
Well, I also would like for things to settle down so I can continue to be more expansive with some of the other practices that you taught us. So one of them was had been exploring the blossoming lotus tincture.
Sure.
You had told me about taking a little bit of that before bed. And I was wondering if that would be a bad thing to start back up.
No, not at all. I
And
mean, I think it's really good for the circadian rhythms, and there's rhythms in our bodies that we're not super conscious of that contribute to things. And so that has an impact on the pineal gland and those circadian rhythms and everything. That's solid choice. Yeah.
and should I only take it for a certain period and then take a break?
No, you could go crazy with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have lots of other questions, but that's enough to keep me going for a little while.
Oh, good.
Oh, there was one other one was, you had mentioned when I was trying to work more on my clairvoyancy of using the tuberose, and there was a pattern. And I was to do it like 75 times focusing just on the forehead and the tuberose, but I was to include the backhead forehead. Do you recall that? Does that ring a bell at all? Because I don't know where I would have written it down.
Most likely, if we're talking about clairvoyance, it was the forehead, backhead, and then the palms and the soles of your feet.
Palms and soles of the feet.
Mhm.
Huh. But I remember that the number 75 needing to focus with the tuberose on one part for 75 inhalations at night. Okay. If you don't remember.
I don't remember the 75 part, but in my head that just says do that a lot. Like I don't know that it's about the number 75, but like, just if you're doing it, like, it doesn't have to be all at once, but you can do 15, 20, 25, 30, give yourself a break, and then do another 25, 30. You could do it several cycles. If you could do it all at once, that's fine, but usually at some point you need a little bit of a break. And so however that is, but that's very very soothing. The tuberose on that pattern does like a few different things, and clairvoyance could be one of them, but it's very, very soothing. Yeah, tuberose is, man, I can't say enough good things about tuberose.
And would that be backhead, forehead, or forehead, backhead?
Forehead, backhead, you know, a lot of times we would just do both, but if you want to get fancy, especially since it's clairvoyance, 2/3 of your awareness on the forehead, 1/3 on the backhead.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Sandra, then Robert.
Hey, Sandra.
Hi, Greg.
Oh, how are you?
I'm good.
good.
I think, a simple question. I have a client who really has low energy in the morning and just kind of drags around. So I recommended cinnamon and peppermint to her.
Uh-huh.
But she also has chronic diarrhea, which has yet to be diagnosed. And I was wondering if I gave her the wrong advice
No,
because I thought
actually, cinnamon is one of the treatments for diarrhea, and so it's
I
not
have
aggravating. It should help, but a lot of times you have a couple of different issues that could be. One is just a super stress plagued digestive tract. So things like, I mean, cinnamon would still be a go-to thing for that, but you could also add like ANS or
ginger.
ginger could help diarrhea. I mean, it's a good tonic for the gut. Let me look something up here.
I thought you had mentioned that someone was having trouble with peristalsis, they should take cinnamon. So I thought possibly it would have the opposite effect.
Yeah, in really stubborn cases, sandalwood.
Sandalwood.
Yeah,
Okay.
I need to go to the bathroom. Give me just a second. I'll be right.
Sure.
That. Yeah, sorry about that. So, anytime that you're seeing like chronic diarrhea, one of the things that is always a little bit of a concern is one, there could be tension in the diaphragm, but it's usually poor vagal tone, and so things that help establish like more stimulation of the vagus nerve or the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. And so, you know, marjoram, tarragon, anise, sage. In these cases, I tend to like to have them inhale marjoram like multiple times a day.
Okay,
And, if you get it on the skin, great, but it can just be done through inhalation.
okay.
I treated this one person, I don't know, about a year ago. And they were really prone to bad bouts of diarrhea. And it wasn't like every day, but it was 5 days out of the week or something.
Uh.
And if they were under stress, it would be every day for, a month or two at a time. And so we tried several different things, but the thing that really kind of snapped them out of it was the marjoram just multiple times a day. And it's to really fortify and stimulate the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. It can get really super depleted.
Uh-huh.
And there are certain oils that can stimulate that area, marjoram being one of the better ones, for like really depleted, pulling them out of fight flight and really fortifying the rest and repair mode. But in some cases, like here we're talking about sandalwood for really chronic diarrhea. Sandalwood can be used sometimes to stimulate the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. It's not my first go-to thing, but in really stubborn cases, that could be used. But my guess is you're probably going to be able to resolve this over a week or two of just lots of inhalation with marjoram at a fraction of the cost,
Yeah,
The-
I have given her marjoram, so for something else, so she
Yeah.
already has that.
Yeah, I would say just really go hard on the marjoram, like multiple times a day, just inhale 40, 50 times and just, and then 3-4 hours goes by and then again, and just keep doing that as the day progresses and just day after day after day. And like within a week or two, you should see some sort of benefit. As far as the cinnamon and the peppermint goes, I would keep on that, especially the cinnamon. I like the cinnamon as a general body, like stimulating the processes as well as peppermint. And so they both would kind of work. Both would augment the treatment, and so good instincts there. And I would stay on that as well.
Is the marjoram mainly for, say, someone who's under a lot of stress, or
could
is
be-
it
be
just in general?
It could be stress, but it's just like a depleted part of that nervous system. And it could get depleted for all kinds of reasons. It could be an illness, it could be stress, it could be, digestive issues, it could be poor sleep, it could be lots of reasons.
Yeah.
And so how it gets there kind of, at least
Doesn't-
for me, doesn't really matter. I still just go to that part of the nervous system and start trying to fortify it.
Well, she had, about a year ago, she had to take quite a few antibiotics for some dental work.
It's probably,
She
that's
thinks
probably what
that
it
that's
is.
when it started.
Yeah.
So,
So, like on that note, I would still do all the things that we're talking about, but if you really suspect that the intestinal flora was off, a few drops of Palmarosa daily would
okay,
help reestablish healthy flora.
okay,
Yeah,
all righty. And internal or just?
yeah, that would need to be internal. Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're still welcome.
And then go ahead, Robert, then Heather.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Greg. So I wanted to give some updates on a couple of things we've talked about in past study groups. One of them was about ants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember that?
Yes, I did.
So I had ants and I kept looking for the source of them. And the source was from around a nail that was holding a frame poster. So I removed the nail, I patched the hole, I let it dry, sprayed the area where the ants were with peppermint. And, you know, they were gone by that point before the peppermint, but they haven't come back. So
Oh, man. How you figured that out is amazing. I never would have gone to a nail in the wall. You know, I always think like, is it coming in through the pipes? Is it coming in through a crack in the floor? Is it?
it was easy to follow their line.
Oh, was it?
And since they're gone during the day, I just patched the hole during the day. There were no ants in the room. They couldn't get in after that.
Right.
And it was really a nail hole. So I haven't put the poster back up yet. I intend to do that. I just have been pausing on it. So good stuff, I think.
Yeah, that's super great.
And then last week, I talked about my left leg and the pain I was having.
Oh, yes.
And basically, we talked a bit about a pinched nerve kind of thing.
Mhm.
And you gave quite a number of things to do. And I did those, and everything was giving me very temporary relief. It did help. So I could get 3 hours of sleep instead of the 1 hour of sleep I was getting.
Yeah, it's still not good enough. I mean, it's
Right.
great you got a few extra, but
Yeah, so what happened was, I think it was Friday, I happened to be going through one of my oil drawers and found Nerve Soothe. And
oh yeah. Yeah,
the body tonic. And I said, oh, this feels good just holding it. And so I had my wife put it on my spine and on my lower back. And the pain isn't completely gone, but I'm sleeping maybe 5-6 hours a night now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I know I'm on to something.
Yeah,
and
so the thing that Nerve Soothe is really good for is like you could say it helps to regenerate the nerve, but like regeneration here is not like it's helping it to grow or grow back or whatever. It's like it's re-educating how the nerve is functioning. And sometimes when we have like chronic pain syndromes, it's like the nerve fires in a particular way, and then it just goes, yeah, this is what we do now. Like this is just like this is us now, right? And even though you correct some soft tissue issues or structural misalignments or things, the nerve goes, yeah, that's great, but this is what we do now. Like, you know, we're just going to keep firing this way. That Nerve Soothe is to help like re-educate. Wait, I'm making sure I'm getting the, because there's Nerve Help and Nerve Soothe. Nerve Soothe is, it's the, I want to look up the recipe, make sure I'm giving the right explanation. Hold on. Give me just a sec here. Recipes in progress. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna back off what I was saying because I was going down the wrong rabbit hole. So Nerve Soothe is for what you would call fibrillations. And basically, when there's inflammation in an area, it causes like chaotic like nerve activity. And that chaotic nerve activity is this little like fluttering thing that can happen in the tissue. Sometimes you're aware of it, sometimes you're not, but it can also be even a little bit deeper. But the Nerve Soothe helps like calm that down quite substantially. And it also has an impact on like the neck and even the potential for inflammation in the mouth, and which is like a weird byproduct of that. It's not what it was intended for, but the thing about it unwinding the neck is it also has an impact on that nuchal ligament area, which when you open that up, it shifts the nervous system as well. So if that's working for you, I would say double down on that, use that, but back it up also with something that has an anti-inflammatory effect. You know, frankincense and myrrh, or black cumin, or turmeric, or, you know,
I'm
something.
taking, yeah, I'm taking black cumin every day.
Yeah, perfect. That's a great
So,
combination. Yeah.
Yeah, so sort of echoing what you're describing. When I was in pain, I could never feel the source of the pain because the pain was constant.
Mhm.
And every time I would go to feel where the pain was, the pain would fire again, and I couldn't figure it out. Now that it's calm, I can say, oh, this is the area that hurts. Because
And where's that at? Like, where are you feeling the real specific?
there's about 3 different areas. In terms of dull, achy pain, it's the lower left back. And then there's a tightness, and if you palpate, I'd call it the IT band in the upper thigh, and less sharp, but still noticeable, the right inner thigh down near the knee. I'm not the right inner thigh, sorry, the left inner thigh down by the knee.
So on the opposite leg.
No, same leg.
Same.
This is all left side.
And does it feel like more like an adductor, or does it feel like not directly, still kind of by the kneecap, or more
The
towards your
side of the knee, more toward the side of the knee.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what I feel is almost like something was overused.
Mhm.
And if I put too much, if I have to put too much strength or effort into something, it doesn't have any real support. It's almost like
So does it feel like the knee might buckle?
it has a couple times, nothing
Okay.
major, of course.
So let's find you a picture. So I want you to bust out the terebinth, if you don't have terebinth, pine. And I'm gonna send a picture to Samantha. Okay. Okay, so she's getting the picture right now.
Give me a second, I'll get it, sure.
Okay, so you see there's the 2 sides with the X with the red stuff, and then there's the one that has the 2 X's, the leg that's in the middle.
Yes.
And it has the 2 X's on the muscle. That bottom X, you see that bottom X there?
Yes.
So it's not so much about where the pain's at, but that area has developed quite the trigger point. And any time that you have the issue that you're describing on the inner leg, it usually can be a byproduct to something that was out of alignment for a period of time, but the trigger point has happened. And so you want to put terebinth on that area, like kind of daily, and just putting the terebinth on there should be enough. But if you want to accelerate it, you can kind of take your fingers, and instead of rubbing it like this, you want to kind of get in and just almost do like these little circular motions in on that area, and it's going to be tender. So you don't have to push it hard. You don't have to work it all out at once. But what that does is that it causes an imbalance in how the knee balances itself, and it starts to put pressure on the ACL, the ligament, the anterior cruciate ligament,
Okay.
and can start to irritate and cause like a kind of tendonitis in or not tendon, but it can cause like an inflammation in that area and start to make the knee feel a little bit unstable that way. With enough weight, or if you're to get bumped or going down a stair, sometimes it'll start making the knee kind of wobbly in the extreme, and then the knee might buckle. And so if you go through and you treat this, it's not that the knee is weak, it's that trigger point doesn't allow the muscle to function like it should. So it makes the knee not as stable as it could be when you're going downstairs or when you're lifting things, or if you had like holding something and somebody bumped your leg, it would make the leg really super unstable. And
Okay.
so then when you're talking about the iliotibial band, is it down the whole side, or is there burning like mid thigh?
No burning mid thigh there. The area I feel is closer to the hip, and I wouldn't call it burning. It's like when I palpate there, I can tell it's there.
Okay, yeah. So I put some terebinth on that area too, and you
Okay.
can do a little bit of a slow moving like friction rub on that area, and that should help. But I would put the terebinth down the whole side of the leg to hit that whole iliotibial band.
Okay.
There's trigger points up high, there's trigger points down low. The most common trigger points in the quad, that's the lateral part of the quad there, is usually mid thigh, where it will cause iliotibial band syndrome, but it can still happen up high. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Do you ride a bike or run?
Sure. At the moment.
What about in your past?
In my past, I rode bikes, but that's 20 years ago.
Okay.
Like, was really into it multiple times a week.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a little bit of leftover from that, but I mean, that's long enough to where I think it would manifested before that, but still it could just be imbalance in the hip, or a little bit of an issue up high. So I would still do the things that you're doing on with the nerve soothe, and then on those two spots, put terebinth or pine of some sort on those areas. Like daily, even if it's feeling okay, still daily for a while. And it should help that a bit.
Good. That without even doing it, it feels good to hear that.
Yeah.
And like you said, the pressure rub also feels good. I have this tendency to just do that, but there's no oil, nothing to work it out. It's just my hand, and that's not enough.
Yeah. The terebinth can be very it's very cleansing. You know how like we talk about lovage being very cleansing to the tissue, which is true. Terebinth is very cleansing to the tissue, especially for spots where it's starting to turn into some neurological dysfunction, like, which is what we would call a trigger point. And so, trigger points can happen for a whole wide range of reasons. And, a lot of them are structural misalignments, overuse, an injury, an old injury, there's a whole wide range of things that it could be. Terebinth on those areas can really be a game changer.
And you're saying terebinth neat.
Yeah, I mean, you could put it on a body tonic, but when I start to get trigger points in a particular area, I just start pouring the bottle on that area. I was like, this is going to get better overnight. And I'm not saying that that's what you should do, but I mean,
I'm happy to try it.
yeah, I would go hard on it's very gentle on the skin. It's very detoxifying. I have the shoulder injury where I tore some muscles and everything. And when it starts to get bad, I'll lose sensation in about half from my finger joints, like to the tips, like I won't be able to feel anything again. And like normally I have it, but then when it starts to get really like imbalanced, all of a sudden, like I don't have sensation in my hand anymore. And I know that it's a surgical issue, but I don't want to have the surgery. And so I just try to do maintenance on it the best that I can. I'll pour terebinth all over it. And within a day or two, I don't even remember that it was a problem. All the sensation returns, like everything. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you
it's
very
just
much.
trigger points because of the imbalances. Anytime there's a muscle imbalance, that this can happen, but treating the muscle imbalances much farther down the line. Right now, you're just trying to do damage control, and terebinth is it for a while.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Heather, and then we have a handful of questions.
Yeah. Hey, Heather.
Let's get you unmuted.
Hey, hello. Okay, I figured one other question.
Yeah, fire away.
I was gifted the oil blend Emotional Release.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And well, two things. One, I don't know how to use it. Are you able to maybe suggest a few uses for it? And also let me know what is in the blend?
I can tell you what's in the blend here. Give me just a sec here.
Ooh, excellent.
So emotional release is it's kind of fancy. It's St. John's wort, Damascus rose, which is a fancy rose, cistus, helichrysum, Cape snowbush, Roman chamomile, and Melissa.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that was a lot.
yeah, it's a fancy one. And so
super fancy.
You could do it a couple of different ways. You can just inhale it and then do that thing where if you're having emotions, or even if you're not having emotions, you just go, okay, where do I feel something in my body? Feel it in your body, and then inhale. And then you can do the same thing with your spine. You can do it like that.
Okay, yeah, body awareness, then spine awareness.
Or are you having anything that you're treating in specific, or are you just like, how do I use the oil?
Yeah, this is new to me. I don't have it, and how do I use it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I would do it on the front and back heart and front and back solar plexus, and it doesn't have to be in any particular order. You could just inhale on the heart, inhale on the back heart, inhale on the solar plexus, inhale on the back solar plexus. Yeah.
Okay. Front heart, back heart, front solar plexus.
Very soothing, by the way. It's very, very soothing.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. I caught about half of that list from the blend. Do you mind saying it one more time? Because I got St. John wort, Cape snowbush, Roman chamomile, and Melissa, but I missed the others. I'm so sorry.
Cape snowbush. So you got St. John's wort, Damascus rose.
Oh, Damascus rose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
the Cape Snowbush,
Yep.
Roman chamomile,
Mm-hmm.
and then Melissa.
Yeah, okay. Wow. Is there any, do you know of any classes that you might have had this oil in where there's specific protocols?
Well, I'm gonna turn this over
Then-
to Samantha for a moment, and she's gonna tell you guys how to like search the website for what classes that would be. Would be
So,
in.
yeah, I'm gonna just show you
Yes, thanks.
because this is my favorite thing right now. Well, I have a lot of favorite.
You
things.
just made Samantha's day, by the way, by
Okay,
asking that
so
question.
Well, I was trying to use that this week. I'm like, how, I know she said this a couple times. How do I
Yeah.
use this?
So in
Perfect.
classes, you go to previous classes. And we're going at the speed of my internet, so be patient. And then it's emotional release, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then we look, we type emotional release, we press enter. And it scrolls all the different things. So it was, okay, the only tricky thing is it may not have been in a kit if it was a recommended oil in a free class, but
Mhm.
basically it could be in any of these. You just click on one. And then we scroll down and I just look emotional release 5 ml was in cultivating balance and discernment. And so I would just type it into the previous classes and look and see what classes pop up. Read more, and free classes will probably either refer to what's in the kit or a recommended oil, right?
Balance and discernment was the Ming Men class.
Balance and discernment was the solar plexus I got.
Solar plexus. Yeah,
Excellent.
discernment. That makes sense.
And emotional release, yeah, here it is in the journey class. So that's the great easy way to see if you might have that oil from another class. So
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Samantha.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg.
You're so welcome. And again, you just totally made Samantha's day.
Well, good, because I was questioning it and it just tied together, I guess.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's one of my old blends. Like it was, it's had variations over the years, but I've been making that one probably 25 years.
Oh,
And,
wow.
It
Cool.
was like my old school go-to thing for anything emotional that comes up. You just go to that one. And in the old days, I didn't even have them following patterns. I would just have them inhale, put a few drops on the wrist, and then call it good. And so, it could be lower emotions kind of coming up, like anger, irritation, frustration. It's good for that.
Mhm.
But if there's like kind of trauma oriented or just a mishmash of things, it's very soothing and cleansing at the same time. Yeah, anything emotional, you could just go to that one.
Awesome. Kind of like Splendor in a way then.
Yes, Splendor has more to do with like the vital centers and things like that. So it's, things getting agitated and eventually affecting the mind, that still would be an emotional component. And then Gilead is really targeting the lower emotions, where this kind of helps the lower emotions to be fleshed out and or transmuted and made into higher emotions, like a more activated heart and things like that. So if you look at like the rose and the Melissa are very activating to the heart, strengthening to the heart. The St. John's wort just fleshes things out of your system. Helichrysum deals with trauma. Like there's different components in that really help to strengthen and fortify the emotional body.
I see. Oh, excellent. That's great. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
and then go ahead, Cindy, and then we'll go to the chats.
Hey, Cindy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Following up on her question with the emotional release, if you do have something specific, is it helpful to focus on that or just
Yeah,
just go with it?
I would focus specifically on the issue, and then You can follow a pattern, but like with like something super specific, I would contemplate it, feel it in the body, and then start inhaling the emotional release with you feeling it in the body. Go back to the situation, feel it in the body again, go back to the situation, then go to the spine. And just keep going back and forth between the body and the spine and the situation. It should
Okay.
really help unwind that.
All right, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. And then for the chat, you guys can still raise your hand if you have a question always. So any suggestions for a woman in her mid-40s who's been diagnosed with prolapse bladder and pelvic congestion syndrome?
Yeah.
I only have that information and that she has very heavy and painful menstruation and had past trauma too. I did suggest for her to start with Vitex and Terracon.
Yeah, I mean, you're right on the money. There's only so much that the oils can do in this particular situation, but regulating the cycle and I would have her put the tarragon in a lotion and rub it on the lower abdomen. But also just inhaling it can be really solid as well. The prolapse part, it's a hard one to treat. I mean, even in the old days, I used to even try to do healings on that, and it's good, it's stabilizing, but usually that needs some medical attention. Yeah. Still, like, try to make her comfortable. The Vitex is solid, the tarragon is solid. Even sometimes mugwort can be applied to the lower abdominal area. I find tarragon's a better choice, but if you're looking for options, mugwort can be an option and clary sage could be an option as well. Yeah.
Another one, different question, obviously. My 6-year-old niece doesn't want to sleep in her own room and currently sleeps next to her mom and dad in their room at night. She said she saw a movie that scared her, but she plays in her room during the day. She's extremely empathetic and compassionate and brightens everyone's spirits at other times. Do you have any suggestions? What could help? I suggested white sage, essential oil and or smudge for her room, but maybe that's not fixing the real issue, which might be fear.
Yeah, it could be fear. It could also be like a little bit of agitation in the nervous system. I mean, I usually start with some Roman chamomile with a child of this age, but usually what fixes it is Melissa. And Melissa's a little bit pricey. It could be something that's inhaled. Occasionally, I give it to them internally, but most likely you can resolve this actually with just using the spray, which is not anywhere near as expensive as buying a little bottle. I mean, we can always do little tiny bottles for you, but the spray, you can just spray her down. You could spray the bed and everything. It should help her sleep. It's calming to the nerves, but it's a treatment for kids for like night terrors, fears that come up in the night, anxieties, things like that. I mean, it does that for adults, but for kids, it's just, even lavender can be calming and soothing, but for like these tendencies to like have fear or panic or just get super scared, the Melissa usually knocks that out. Yeah.
Could you talk about the energetic mechanics class? There is nothing on the website.
Yeah. So basically, we're going to go through and look at like an explanation of each of the mechanics of, say, like health rays, the inner health rays, the protective web, the aura. And I know we've kind of covered it in some of the other classes, but we're looking at the neurological correlations with each of these aspects. When you're treating the health rays, for example, you're treating a very specific piece of the nervous system. So if you look at it from an energetic point of view, you're impacting that part of the nervous system. But what we're doing is we're going to take the energetic component and treat it, and then we're going to take the neurological aspect that it's treating, and we're going to treat both at the same time, kind of like as a marriage or an integration between the physiological and the energetic component. And we're going to go through and break down like health rays, protective webs. There'll be deeper explanations about all of these, but then also what is it targeting in your nervous system. And so with this kind of pieces of information, it becomes much easier to problem solve, and it becomes very easy to integrate something in the treatment of various conditions. So like, for example, if we're treating, going back to like digestive issues in the gut and what is potentially an issue there, we could go through and treat it physically, but then what is the energetic counterpart to that? Where a lot of times for me to keep it from being too confusing and not bouncing all around, if we're talking clinical, I'll talk clinical. If we're talking energetic, I'll talk energetic. I usually don't mix these things. And this is like a precursor, because eventually we're going to be talking about even things that to the logical mind wouldn't make sense, but there could be a planetary influence. There could be, other influences that are tied to this, like different conditions. And so here is like the first step of like integrating these different pieces that we've been talking about in a way that is systematic. And you go, oh, I have this issue, or this issue is in this particular area, or this part of the nervous system. I'll treat it energetically, and I'll treat it clinically or physically, and integrate the two. And so, there's basically 8 topics that we're going to go through and talk about, protective webs, the health rays, the aura, the spine, the limbs, the organs of blood purification. What else was it? Cords. And then we'll talk about the chakras, but the chakras begin to go more into the glands rather than, but if you look at the overall view, what is our mind is the culmination of the nervous system and the glands working together. And so here you go through and you look at all the pieces, how to treat something energetically and physiologically. And then when we kind of do the whole picture, you can see as you treat this whole thing, you're also starting to treat aspects of the mind or the brain. I can give you we were going to put it out, the flyer tomorrow, but I can give her it won't have the kit yet. Like I'm still working on the kit, but I can give you the flyer information right now. Is that okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll do a copy paste, guys, whatever he sends me, but I'll get it up on the website here in
Yeah.
just a second.
It's
So,
I just need to do the kit, and then we'll post it. So at the very latest, it's going to be posted, everything tomorrow.
Give me a sec, I'll find that. But well, in the meantime, someone's asking what oils are in grief. I think
Sadness and grief.
I think sadness and grief.
I have to look that up.
Not sure this can translate in chat, by the way, guys. But like I said, I'll get it up on the site. And this is for that free class, not this weekend, but next weekend.
Sadness and grief is marjoram, red myrtle, cypress, St. John's wort, and poplar balsam.
Three questions, guys. And that class, yes, is August 6th and 7th. Oh,
Right.
I have it on the wrong days. August 5th and 6th is what I have here, but let me look and see real quick. August 5th and 6th. Yeah, August 5th and 6th. All right, great questions, guys.
That's for which class?
That is for the conditions weekend.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Boy, God, this year's just flying by. Okay, so we have a little bit of time. This is a little something that we did over the weekend, where we did a little bit of a neck release, but we did it with a little bit of movement. And I know we've been doing some of this in some of the other areas of the body, but if you have chakra root cleanser, if you have kunzia, hyssop woodwork, and let's even throw marjoram in the mix, but chakra root cleanser would be the primary thing. If you have chakra root cleanser, let's use that. Okay, so give you a minute to pull that out. Okay, so let's have you begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the throat minor and then the back of the head, but the base of the skull, like all the way across the bottom of the skull. If you need to tap in there with your fingers just to feel where the bottom of the skull is, you're going across the whole backside, not just the center, the whole backside. So you're doing both at the same time. The throat minor and the bottom of the skull at the same time. Just take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Keep taking some long, slow, deep breaths. And then just let go for a moment. Now, if you watch me, this is what you're going to do. You're going to drop your chin down, and then you're going to kind of turn it to one side. And what we're doing is we're releasing what you call the sternocleidomastoid, these two rope muscles that run from behind your ear down to your clavicle and the top part of your sternum. They affect your inner ear, they affect your sinuses, and they affect blood flow going to the brain. Okay, so your head is down, you're turning to the side, and as you turn to the side, take some long, slow, deep breaths. Remember, your chin is down closer to the chest. As you inhale, you're working an aspect of the sternocleidomastoid. Take about 3 or 4 long, slow, deep breaths. And then gently bring it back and go to the other side. Again, your chin is down. You're taking 3 or 4 long, slow, deep breaths. And then return to the center and go back to the throat minor and the bottom of the skull at the back at the same time. Just take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Okay. This time, instead of your chin being closer to your chest, it's farther away. So you're tilting your head up. And same thing, you're rotating it to your left. And just to the place of where it's still a bit comfortable. Don't like force it. And you get to that spot. Remember, your chin is up a little bit more than usual. Take 3 or 4 long, slow, deep breaths. And then you're still up and you're moving to the right. And again, 3 or 4 long, slow, deep breaths. Okay, and then just return to the center. Be still. Now, you're going to watch me for a second. You're just going to lower the chin all the way down, like how you do in the materialization breath, where you kind of bring it all the way down. And you're going to inhale. You're not going to move your head up. You're going to keep your awareness on the back heart, especially like that area, like a little bit higher, almost like just below the neck and even the bottom part of the neck region. As you're down, just take some long, slow, deep breaths in that area where you feel the tension. Just take 4 or 5 long, slow, deep breaths. And then bring your head back to normal. And now you're doing the other part where you're lifting your head back. And then with your head up, you're inhaling, but your awareness is on your throat, the middle of your throat. Just do it to a place of comfort. Don't push it. Don't try to stretch it extra hard. You're just trying to unwind it. Okay, and then just be still for a moment. Again, bring your chin down to your chest and go to that upper back, lower part of your neck. Put your awareness on that area as your head is down and just inhale. Okay, and just be still for a moment. Now, we didn't do all these variations over the weekend, but we're going to still play with it a little bit. Okay, so remember how we did the chin down and you went to your left? You're still going to do that again, but as you do it, you're going to inhale the oil with your awareness on your back solar plexus area, the middle of your back. So the chin is down. You move your head over to the left. You're inhaling on the back solar plexus with your head to the left. And then move your head to the right. Remember, your chin is down a little bit. With your head down like that to the right, your awareness is still on the back solar plexus. Okay, and then bring your head back to center. Now you're going to tilt your head back up. And remember, the first time we did here, with your head up, your awareness this time is on the back heart, the area between your shoulder blades. And then let that go for a moment and just be still. With all that movement, where do you feel it in your body? Okay, Samantha says she feels it in her jaws. You might feel it in your back. Jaws is a pretty solid choice given all the neck stuff that we did. So let's do this. Your awareness is on the jaws, not just where it hinges here, but like from your ear canal all the way down to the bottom of the jaw, like this whole little muscle right here on both sides. Your awareness is on both sides. Long, slow, deep breaths. Now, move your awareness up to the sides of the head. So like where my hand is, like the whole side of your head, front all the way to the back. Go back to that same area on the jaws. I love it. Yeah, Samantha said, doing this for her shoulders are relaxing a bit. So I would go to the ear canals, the holes in your ears. And then the sides of your head again. The sides of your jaws and the sides of your head all work to open and close your mouth. You know, there's other muscles involved too, but these two muscles directly kind of oppose each other. And when you work the muscles that like are in opposition to each other, one moves it open, one moves it closed. For example, you release a kind of tension and stress from the body, and it makes the body tension go down substantially. Okay. So let's move to this spot, like right where the shoulder and neck kind of meet, you know, those tender spots, like right here. I mean, everybody's got them. They're actually a trigger point. Put your awareness just on the tops of your shoulders, close to the neck, and just take some long, slow, deep breaths. Hmm. And then just pause and be still. Things are moving and shifting. So I hope you enjoyed tonight. It was great having those conversations with you. We're going to go now to the prayer petition blessing for Astara. It's about a 15-minute process. If you want to join us and just kind of bliss out and receive some benefit from that, Samantha is posting the link. And if not, hopefully you can join us tomorrow night where we explore some things in the Master Healing class or study group or whatever we're calling it.